Hello there and welcome to another Colganology. Sorry if there hasn't been much in the way of crafting and stuff going on for the last week, but I wasn't very well. I mean, nothing serious or anything like that. I just basically got one of those like 72-hour flu bugs or cold bugs, which is unusual for me because I think the last time I had a cold was about 6-7 years ago. I'm not very prone to them. I'm not very prone to anything like that. I didn't have COVID. I mean, despite being on packed trains and going to events and teaching students and all the rest of it, never got COVID once. And I did test regularly just to make sure, but no, nothing like that. And this isn't COVID either. I did test. So yeah, it just knocked me out for a couple of days, so I couldn't really do much. But I'm on the mend now, a bit short of breath, but hey ho, we're back out on the fields. Yeah, it is lovely out here at the moment, apart from the inevitable noise from aircraft. It is lovely out here. And we've pretty much got the meadows to ourselves, which makes it even nicer. A week on, there's lots more rosebay willow herb and quite a few more butterflies. 2 marble whites here, look. Nice to see. Oh, some little browns as well. Definitely starting to see more of them. I think the rosebay will bring them in, to be honest. And a couple of other little updates for you, or at least responses to some of the comments that you've been leaving. There's been quite a lot of comments about the arm of Geddon and the horn of Geddon, and what on earth I'm doing with this poor person called Geddon. Where this all came from is where I grew up in Cornwall, and where did all my family, apart from me, still live. There is a common expression down there, a local colloquial expression of get on. You know, if you hear a Cornishman saying something like, hey, get on, it means, wow, that's brilliant, fantastic, that's great to hear. That's what it means, basically. So, you know, I just won the pools, get on. And it's usually spelled Geddon, G-E-D-D-O-N. So when I was thinking about the Armageddon horn, I called it the horn of Geddon. Because the horn of get on, amazing, look at this, fabulous. So that's where that came from, but you got me thinking now about creating an entire character called Geddon and all his various body parts. Who knows, I might do that. The cleavers is going over from sticky leaves to sticky burrs. Look at them, look. All those little things that catch in all your clothes and your dog's fur. All still edible, still. Time for another episode of This'll Watch. Well, there's a few more here since I was last here. As I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There was one last time I was here. Although that one there, which was coming out, it's gone all brown for some reason. Maybe it's gone over already. Yes, a 10. Oh, actually down here, there's 2 more, so that's 12. Because we've had quite a lot of rain the last couple of days and it's beaten it down, this is leading over into the alleyway a little bit, so I have a horrible suspicion that the very nice couple who live in this house here may well come out and cut the thistle back. But hey, at least we've got to see all these marvellous purples. Another topic that's come up a few times in the comments is, why don't I buy a 3D printer? Because then surely I could do some really weird stuff. Well, there's a couple of reasons really. The main reason, I mean apart from the cost and all the rest of it, the main reason is I don't want to add more plastics to the environment. I mean, the reason I build everything that I build out of waste materials and stuff that other people would throw away, or I would throw away, is because I want to actually kind of save the planet. And the more I can recycle and reuse and renovate, that I will. And to be honest, 3D printing, as marvellous as it is, and though it's really, really tempting, it's just more plastics, isn't it? I'd much rather carry on building stuff with the material that otherwise would just go in the bin. Look at that, one of my favourite wildflowers has returned again this year, Gypsy Rose. And it's decorated by 2 marble whites and that little orange butterfly down there, or moth. Isn't that beautiful? Love a Gypsy Rose. And talking of roses, the Gelder rose, the viburnum. The berries are now starting to go red. I said I certainly won't be touching them. They're very bitter and they can cause tummy upsets, but if you cook them, they're okay. Birds love them. But yeah, look at all those, look. It's all getting mellow and fruitful, isn't it? Alfie enjoying himself anyway. And Harris, as always, is far too busy sniffing on everything and claiming it all for his to be worried about catching us up that often. I am seeing a lot more butterflies today. This is very encouraging. And I'm hearing my first grasshoppers, or crickets. It's hard to tell which, but I'm starting to hear them. I did actually see a grasshopper a couple of days ago, but this is the first time over in these meadows I've actually heard them. I said that there were a couple of reasons I didn't want a 3D printer. The other reason is that I honestly think it would stifle my creativity. I like the whole process of looking at a pile of bottles and plastic pipes and cardboard and thinking, what can I make from this? That's what I like. I like that process of trying to work out, well, that fits onto there, and that suddenly starts to make a shape that looks a bit like this. And I think I'd lose that whole process if I just designed things on a computer and then printed them. I think I'd get bored with it very quickly, to be honest. I may change my mind. I may change my mind in the future, but at the moment, nah. One of the other reasons I don't want a 3D printer is the same reason that I'm slightly suspicious of AI, and that is it circumvents human ingenuity. A good friend of mine, Rory Sutherland, was speaking at a conference last week called Nudge Stock, which is a behavioural science conference, and he was talking about the importance of the journey. And he said, you know, how many of you got degrees? How many of you have ever gone back and read your dissertation? How many of you have ever referred to it? How many of you actually looked at the final project you have to produce after 2-3 years at university and have made use of that document? And the answer was, of course, none. But it's like you said, it's a worthless document in itself. What was valuable was the journey you went on to create it. You had to learn research skills, then you had to learn how to analyse the data you'd found, then you had to synthesise some of that data and make even more sense of it and draw new conclusions from it. And the point is, the journey you went on increased your knowledge and skills. The final report, the destination, wasn't as important as the journey. And the problem with a lot of these tech things, like 3D printing and AI, is they take away the one valuable bit to humanity, which is the journey, the learning part of the entire process. It's a very big concern for me personally that we're losing that whole journey aspect of things, because we think what we're doing is saving ourselves time and effort, but frankly it's the time and the effort that matters. So there you go, some things to think about. Well, here's another update. The bellow head, this splendid chap here, he's going to a new home this week. I asked around at the local primary schools, asking if they wanted a dragon's head that makes horrible noises. And the one closest to me, actually, which my grandkids went to, they said, yes, please. So Bellyhead's going off to school. Okay, so here I am, still with a dodgy throat, delivering the Bellyhead to a local primary school, where they're going to use it in storytelling and pantomimes and plays and things like that. So it's going to a good home, and I hope the kids get some fun out of it. And there he is, in his new home at the school. There we go. Oh look, is there a little tear in my eye? No, of course there isn't. I mean, the thing about that sort of arts project, it was made from junk. So, you know, instead of it being thrown away, it's had a second life as the bellow head. Then it's gone here. It's now having a third life, you know, as something that I think is going in the library at the school, and they use it in storytelling and things like that. So now that's at least twice now it hasn't gone to landfill and hasn't gone to rubbish. Once they finish with it, of course they can bin it. It's all just waste materials. But, you know, imagine if we all did that sort of thing. Imagine if we all just, instead of just throwing things away, we repaired them or we repurposed them. Of course, it might horrify a few manufacturers because they rely on us throwing stuff away so that we buy new stuff. But, you you know, at the end of the day, we've got to think what's best for the planet. I mean, look at clothes for an example. Did you know that at this moment on this planet, there are enough clothes in existence that every single person on the planet would have enough clothes to wear for a year? That's how many there are on this planet at this very moment, yet we're still manufacturing and churning out loads and loads and selling it to people in the name of fashion. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. We can't go on the way we are. And I'm doing my little tiny, slightly growly bit. Anyway, that's it for this week. Hopefully back to normal a bit more next week. Toodle-pip. If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing. Or click on some of these links to look at some of the other videos on the channel. Or press the like button. Or leave a comment. It would be lovely to hear from you. Any combination of those 4 things would be wonderful. Thank you very much.